When Sherri Papini vanished from her Redding, California neighborhood in November 2016, Keith Papini led the search to find his wife. But even though she later returned and claimed to have been kidnapped, it was all a lie. Keith Papini was born on March 25, 1982, in Redding, California, to parents Kathleen and Kenneth Papini. He reportedly met his future wife, Sherri Greff, in middle school. The two shared their first kiss together when Keith was in 7th grade and Sherri was in 8th grade. Though they lost touch after childhood, the couple began dating in 2006 after Sherri moved back to Redding as an adult. From the beginning of their relationship, Keith got a sense that his significant other had a bad habit of exaggerating or even fabricating stories about her life. Despite the falsehoods, Keith sympathized with his girlfriend. Sherri shared her allegedly abusive upbringing and even showed Keith scars on her back that she claimed were inflicted by an ex-boyfriend. The couple dated for 3 years before marrying in October 2009. By all accounts, the Papinis had a normal, happy marriage. They welcomed a son, Tyler, in 2012, followed by a daughter, Violet, in 2014. Sherri became a stay-at-home mum, and Keith worked full-time as a home theater specialist at Best Buy. The couple lived in a home in Redding, California, close to their family and friends. But the couple's fairy tale marriage shattered on November 2, 2016. That day, Sherri Papini disappeared. On November 2, 2016, Keith Papini returned home from work as usual, but instead of being welcomed by his wife and young kids, Keith found the house was quiet and empty. Sherri was in charge of picking up their 2 kids from daycare every day around 4:30 p.m., but neither she nor the children were anywhere to be seen. When Keith called the daycare, he discovered that his wife had never picked up their children. Immediately concerned, Keith began to search for his wife in the neighborhood and nearby trails where she liked to jog. She had recently picked up the hobby in preparation for a Thanksgiving race. Using the Find My Phone function on his smartphone, Keith was able to pinpoint the location of Sherri's phone at a nearby street corner. However, when Keith arrived, he found her phone and headphones discarded in the grass. Disturbingly, they were tangled up in clumps of her hair. This shocking discovery prompted Keith Papini to report his wife's disappearance to the police. Soon, the whole town of Redding was looking for the missing mother. In the following weeks, volunteers and the authorities organized searches for Sherri Papini, while the police tried to figure out what had happened to the missing mother of 2. The police even polygraphed Keith Papini and ruled him out as a suspect. For the next 3 weeks, Keith Papini was in emotional agony, thinking about what could have happened to his wife. Keith Papini had no idea that the case of his missing wife was more complicated and unexpected than he ever thought possible. On Thanksgiving Day in 2016, a woman discovered Sherri Papini bound on the side of County Road 17 near Interstate 5 in Yolo County, California. She was emaciated, only weighing about 87 pounds and covered in injuries. At the hospital, Keith Papini met with his wife for the first time in 22 days. In the following days, Sherri Papini told police that she had been abducted by 2 Hispanic women at gunpoint. She claimed that they beat and imprisoned her for 3 weeks, subjecting her to mental and physical torture and feeding her stale bread, beans, tortillas, leftover meat, and apples. Sherri claimed that one of her captors let her go. After Sherri was released from the hospital, she and Keith tried to pick up the pieces of their life while the authorities began to search for the kidnappers. However, it wasn't long before the police began to doubt Sherri Papini's story. In 2019, DNA from her sweatpants and underwear matched to a potential male relative of the perpetrator. When authorities tracked down this lead, they realized that the DNA matched a man named James Reyes, a former boyfriend of Sherri Papini. On August 10, 2020, investigators tracked down James Reyes and interrogated him about Sherri Papini's disappearance. Reyes quickly admitted to helping Sherri Papini orchestrate an elaborate kidnapping hoax. He confessed to letting her live in his apartment in Costa Mesa, California, during the 3 weeks she was missing. What's more, Reyes claimed to have witnessed her starve and beat herself to make her kidnapping look more legitimate. He said that she lied and said that Keith was abusing her and eventually decided to go home because she missed her children. That month, authorities confronted Sherri Papini with this information during an interrogation with both her and her husband. Sherri stuck to her story, but Keith was shocked to hear what the investigators had learned.
You've seen some of the photos?
From my side, but now you're telling me, okay, you guys can go home now. Well,
Do you think I want her anywhere around my kids or around me at all at this point?
Keith Papini kicked his wife out of the house, but he eventually relented and let Sherri stay until her arrest on March 3rd, 2022. 6 weeks after her arrest, Sherri Papini signed a plea deal admitting to fabricating the story. She was subsequently sentenced to 18 months in prison. Days later, Keith Papini filed for divorce from his wife. He also petitioned the court for full custody of their children. The couple's marriage dissolved in May 2023, and they only speak during court proceedings. Keith maintains full custody of their children. He says that they're all traumatized, but taking things one day at a time. Let me know what you think of this case and which you would like to see next. Till next time.